Hello and welcome to another stunning episode of Reviews and Reacts. After so much anticipation and high hopes, it's finally here. Wow, some pony is excited. Since neither of us have watched the movie as of yet, let's get the show on the road. Oh, and before we forget, happy Nightmare Night, every pony. I kind of like how in this sequence that they gave a more stylized Gen 4 sequence. I'm Allowed did an awesome job at the main 6 designs. How do you know it's done by them? How could you not? The art style of the 2D characters screams their art style. Could we just back up for a second? Did you notice the tennis ball on the Boulder Media animation? Isn't that the same one we saw attached to Izzy's horn in the trailer? Now that I think of it, I think so. Can we move on now? Whoa, some pony is really excited. Can I say one thing? Sprout is nasty and quite the mama's boy. Hitch, however, him and Sunny are kind of like brother and sister. At least that's what I see. The interaction with Argyle and Sunny is really cute. Though I've got 2 questions. One, where's Argyle's wife? And the second, what happened to Argyle? You know, I've been wondering the same thing. You see Sunny talking to a photo of her father as if he's still around. I hope that it is explained in the show. You know, that song Sunny sang was pretty catchy. Could be my day. Wait. The beats of that phrase sound like some pony galloping. Maritime Bay reminds me of London, England in the 50s, with the roads still being done in cobblestone. But the buildings are kind of what you'd see in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. That's pretty interesting that you came to that conclusion, Eclipse. Hey, Hitch and Suddy did the same thing Twy and Cadence did in Gen 4. Up high, down low, hitch it to a post, flip it sunny side up and on a piece of toast. But this is much more catchy. When I have a filly or a colt, I'm going to teach them this one. Counter logic? Can I say that this whole scene is keeping Earth ponies afraid? I mean, the posters, the scared looks of the 3 adults when they saw the kite's shadow. Perfect products to protect ponies like you from ponies like that. I'm like, seriously? To be scared is to be prepared. What a load of crap. Anti-mind reading helmet looks more like a tinfoil hat to me. Okay, A, unicorns cannot read minds. B, makes them look ridiculous. And C, is completely and utterly unnecessary. And those paragoggles are useful for looking up, but what about watching where you're going? I feel sorry for that stallion with the Earth Pony Escape Balloon Pack. Somebody needs to go back to the drawing board with that one. How the heck is he supposed to get back down to the ground? I wonder if Phyllis Cloverleaf is related to Flim and Flam in some sort of way. I doubt that. I mean, she kind of has Pear Butter's colors, and Sprout is like Big Mac with his colors. They could be related to the Apple family somehow. I get that Sunny is trying to change the minds and hearts of scared ponies, but it's not going so well. Right now, Phyllis has them wrapped around her finger. I mean, her hoof. I mean, nice try and all, Sunny. Cue Izzy. I hate to admit it, but I'm getting a lot of Pinkie Pie moments here. Hitch is kind of like Tom Wachowski. I mean, he's got critters gravitating to him. He's the sheriff of a small town, has an idiot for deputy, and has really good intentions despite the fact that sometimes he messes up. Izzy must really love games. Oh, there's the Ken thing we saw in the trailer. Sunny, 142 questions for a unicorn is an awful lot. Even when I meet a new creature, I don't have that many questions. Says the one who asked 400 questions to Capper when he was visiting Ponyville. Okay, that was one time, okay? Then you asked another, 200 questions when you bumped into the Sphinx? Okay, I get it. I'm very curious. Can we go on now? Another montage song later. Wait, there's that same stallion floating in the sky. Huh. Reminds me of Up for some reason. Up where? It's an animated film that kind of has to do with balloons. I really need to show you more movies. Sprout is paying more attention to his pizza than his conversation with Hitch. Then he makes an excuse why he can't go with Hitch. Go figure. Then, as soon as Hitch leaves with explicit instructions not to start a war, Sprout starts throwing a tantrum. Phyllis calls his tantrums a Sprout pout. She shouldn't have told him that he was the sheriff. I can already see Sprout being the type that gets easily corrupted by power. Wait, Sparkle? Isn't that like the magic inside every pony? Maybe? You know, Zip jumping around like that is almost like the agility training for the Wonderbolts. Only, wait, why is she grounded? Izzy, why? Yup. I definitely see a lot of Pinky in this character, just without all the physics breaking. Is it me, or is Thunder being really submissive when he first sees Izzy and Sunny? I will admit the expressions of all the characters is something else. And now we know what the tennis ball is all about. It's funny that all the useless things like the tennis ball, the tinfoil hat, the periscope goggles, and lest we forget the balloon pack, all don't do anything. Yet it is more psychological in terms of making them feel better that it is being used to quote-unquote protect them. There goes Sunny asking a million questions to Thunder. It's neat that he wants to answer Sunny's questions, but his superior officer isn't having it. Oh my. Canada certainly has changed a crap ton. I mean, marble streets, Manhattan-style TV billboards, and the palace looks really elegant. CBS News, well, in this case, ZBS. Hey, they have a pony version of Sony, Philly Elliott, and even a Pegasus version of Spotify and Facebook Live. They still have the same Greek architecture as Cloudsdale, but toned down enough to not be overbearing. I like it. One other thing I like is how the smartphones are. They're really neat designed, and they have a little spot for the hoof, which is cool. Pip hip hooray. So Pip is not only what you would call a influencer, but also a superstar? Interesting. Izzy, I hate to say it, but you're bowing to the royal pet. I'm going to say it right now. The royals are using wires like what they do for superhero movies back on Earth. I like Zip giving the kill gesture to Izzy to shut up. Is it me, or are the hooves of Zip and Pip silver and gold? Here I was half expecting Queen Haven's hooves to be in the bronze color. Then they would all match. It could be just their hoof polish. Third music montage later. Okay, I have to admit, Sprout's song reminds me of System of a Down or Nirvana, mixed with what you'd see in the mid-90s music videos. Also, you can see him turning the citizens into pretty well a terrorist group. Fear sometimes does that, turning innocent ponies into radicals. That perfume commercial, Parfum Le Pip. I know they used le instead of de, but that's my grade 4 French coming through. I could tell you the translation, but that would screw with our family-friendly writing for this channel. It's pretty funny for those that know a little bit of French. So, yay for French grammar errors? What are you talking about? I'll tell you after the episode. So, the dungeon isn't really a dungeon. It's more like a spa room for prisoners? Wow, a royal who doesn't like being called by their royal title. That's a breath of fresh air. There goes Izzy talking about being medium sneaky. I just noticed that Pip is shorter than Zip, but that could be because one's athletically inclined, while the other one is more fluttery. You could really tell that Zip doesn't like lying to Izzy and Sunny, but has to in front of her sister. I can definitely see Dashi and Rarity in both of those characters. Hitch in his Donut Lord speech. At least those rabbit things were helpful and supportive. You are right with that. Huh. So they kept the old Camelot airship station. Interesting stained glass window. Must have been put in when Twilight takes over as queen. Yeah, but that hasn't exactly happened yet. Oh, right. You did a bit of time travel with porcelain, huh? Yeah, but I only went like 50 years into the future. It's nice that Zip was being upfront and honest with Sunny and Izzy. I told you, wires. You have to admit that Pegoranian is super cute. And the whole scene was pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, the whole scene reminds me either of Now You See Me or Ocean's 11. Heist movies, huh? Here I thought you would have said it's like that Sparkle 7 episode. Well, that one too. There goes the Tree of Harmony. That means that whole field used to be the Everfree Forest. Thousands and thousands of moons, or even tens of thousands of moons, must have passed since Twilight's adventures. If that's so, then that means I've been dead for a very long time. No natural born would live that long. I should take another trip and see this place for myself. Wait, Izzy used her horn to knock down a tree? What, is she like part jackhammer or part beaver? Let's move on before I start getting a headache from trying to analyze this part too much. Hitch is being stubborn, but Sunny being a supportive friend gets him to stop being a loner. I really like this somber campfire moment. We finally find out why Izzy came to Maritime Bay. The composer did a great job on setting the mood for these somber moments. It lets the audience take a few moments and really let the scene sink in. The saying Sunny and Argyle used to say together at the beginning of the film really hits home at this moment, kind of bringing a tear to my eye. Finally, Hitch realizes what he has right here and wants to help. Good on him for figuring out it's better to have friends than being alone. Whitetail Wood has certainly changed a lot. Lots of red oak trees around. It's a bit more foresty than before. I kind of like it. I hope Gramps' cottage is okay, although I really want to say Izzy's cottage looks like Zikora's, but I'm not. Izzy is quite the free cycler. A cat clock, a music box, a crib mobile, friendship bracelets that look like the rock candy ones Pinkie Pie makes every year. It's all pretty neat stuff. That tea tray flower thing reminds me of the Tree of Harmony crystal chest thingy. Cue another song montage. I'm thoroughly impressed with how the songs are placed and when they occur. Awesome on the writer's part. Watch us shake a unicorn butts. That's just brony pander, right? No, that's just how unicorns flaunt themselves sometimes in Canterlot. I just got a Lego movie vibe with Izzy pointing out random crystals. Well, it's Hope Hollow all over again. I guess without magic, they've lost all hope and everything's become really mundane. So Izzy explains why she's all the way on the outskirts. Autumn Blaze was the same way. Probably too sparkly, too happy, and too positive for the village. Ooh, you said a bad word. Hurry guys, before we get jinxed. That voice reminds me of Little Pipsqueak, and the ritual is damn funny. Since when did unicorns get superstitious? Wait. Forbidden words? How are magic, feather, wing, and mayonnaise all bad words? I kind of get it. Back on Earth, there's one thing called jinx, where you and another person say the same word or the same phrase at the same time, and one of you can put a jinx on the other. There's a special ritual that's said to ward off bad luck, and some can get pretty ridiculous. I kind of want to go to this place. It's got live poetry, cozy environment, and especially tea. I really like the mosaic teacups, and the lighting is pretty nice. The interaction between Alphabeetle and Sunny reminds me of a scene on Speed. Let me guess, another movie? Yeah, it was shown in the background on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and they actually did a similar scene further in that movie. You know, you've made a few references to that particular movie. Can I ask why? Well, it's just what I'm seeing when we're watching this film. I mean, this is the third time James Marsden has been in a film that he has been involved in helping animals. Granted, him playing Hitch and having animals gravitate to him is a bit of a switch, but still. I get what you said earlier. It's kind of cool that he's part of a movie in this fashion. I like the fact that the poet is being the announcer for the DDR game. As the rounds go by, the game speeds up. I'm glad that Pip gave Sunny a bit of a pep talk before the third round. Izzy should have used a hairpin when securing the horns to her friends' heads. And Hitch gets glumped by the Pegoranian. Queen Haven tries to coax her daughters to go back with her and continue the lie. Thunder throwing another tennis ball at Alphabeetle, which does nothing but piss him off. Somber moment number 3 ends in Sunny feeling like everything was for nothing. Her friends are unsure what to do, but Hitch tries his best to catch up to his longtime friend. Those two definitely act more like siblings than friends. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? What do you mean by that? Can you explain a little bit? I was just thinking, what if Argyle's wife is Hitch's mom, somehow getting a divorce because Argyle's unwillingness to conform? Hitch and Sunny would have been separated at a very, very young age and be reacquainted in school, becoming fast friends. Neither would recognize the other's parent as being their own missing parent. At least that's my thought. I kind of want to know what our audience thinks in the comments. That would explain why there's only photos of Sunny and Argyle. We will have to see when the show starts. This is the best somber moment of the movie. Sunny feels like a failure and is just about to give up her hopes and aspirations when the gift that her father made suddenly reflects the light of the setting sun. She realizes that there's a third crystal and is back to being full of hope once more. I'm pretty sure this moment is the climax of the film. Sprout has been hard at work and it is now becoming a Starlight wannabe dictator. You have to admit, they did a good job on the pony mobile suit. Can you say subtle hints of Gundam here? Anyways, Sprout insults his best friend in front of the entire town. Some friend he turned out to be, huh? Okay, so Sunny and Hitch go to warn their new friends of what's coming while being chased by Sprout. Either Sprout is jealous or he just doesn't want unity. Boy, that mobile suit surely can move. At least Alphabeetle and Haven are more of an agreeable state. They don't want to fight, yet they're still a bit leery. So 3 crystals make for what exactly? My question is, why didn't they lead Sprout away from the lighthouse enough to circle back and give themselves more time? Hitch and Zip tried their best to stop Sprout from going too far. Heck, even Phyllis tried to step in before it got worse, but it was too late. Eclipse, you called it earlier that Sprout would abuse his power. How did you know? Honestly, back on Earth, I knew a few who were like that. They were my childhood bullies from school, and they let the power they had get to their heads. In grade 8, I was the only victim that stood up to them, and those bullies paid the price. I didn't use violence. I merely stood up, took the pounding, and made sure that the nearby teachers would hear what was going on. I know I was lucky in the fact that I was in a private school, but still, one should never be afraid to stand up for what's right or what they believe in. Not with violence, but with showing others that there's another way. Like how throughout this whole movie, the underlying theme, I think, is all about not only friendship, but love as well. So like what Sunny was trying to do the whole time. Not letting fear dictate your actions, turning it into hatred and malice, but unifying others through friendship, mercy, hope, and love. It's a great lesson indeed. I kind of see those 3 crystals as a symbol rather than a literal magical object. Well, Alphabetal, Haven, and even Phyllis combined their efforts to fix a broken frame of Sunny and Argyle. It's interesting in that act, somehow it activated the 3 gems and magic was restored. I do want to make note, those who have seen what happened to the Crystal Empire when the Crystal Heart was found, what's happening to every pony with the wings glowing, the horns glowing, and Sunny getting a magical horn and wings, I'm 90% sure that what's happening here is just temporary, just like what happened to Twilight and her friends. I certainly hope so. If they are going to make Sunny into an alicorn in the show, I hope they take their time and let her adventure for a while before thrusting that onto her. Oh look, guess who finally returned? That was really good. I loved that they had flexibility in their pacing throughout the film. The music choices were well played and set the mood for each scene. Okay, so the story was a bit predictable, but honestly, I didn't mind that over the fact that I kept laughing and was really engaged in the shenanigans of the main characters. The animation. Oh, the animation. I had to pause a few times so I could take a really good look at the details. Holy crap. They made every pony fuzzy. Like, not fake fuzzy, but like what you would see on a wild horse, especially the ears. And all the expressions were more realistic for the face shape. I also like the nods to various pop culture references like Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Billy Elliot, Dirty Dancing, Harry Potter, and Jaws. Even products like Sony, Spotify, and Roots were ponified, which was really cool. Overall, I really enjoyed the film and will undoubtedly watch it over and over to see what else I can pick up. I will say I'm glad they kept the cartoony feel for Twilight in them. It was really well played and both of us are, wait, what? There's more? Hey look, I guess there might be a CMC element in the show. And that looks like the hill where Twilight and her friends stood at the series finale of Friendship is Magic. I wasn't talking about that. Did you notice the hoof prints? I wonder what that could be. Who knows? We'll have to wait till the show starts to find out. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Reviews and Reacts. There's so much more coming soon, so keep an eye out. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and click that bell to know when more of these videos are up. Check out all our social media in the description below. I'm also doing commission work and have 3 slots open. Keep an eye on my Twitter to know when I've opened and closed my commissions, plus be up to date on what's going on. We also have a Ko-fi and a Patreon set up for those that do want to show their support and see more content like this. Well, I think that's it. I'm heading off to dunk my head in the trough for a bit. I'm going to join you in just a sec. Then we can talk about that thing earlier. Anyways, keep your eyes to the skies and never give up in your dreams. Night, every pony. So, yeah, about that perfume commercial. Wait, what? Are you serious? They let that slip through on a family movie?